We were chatting, we were talking specifically about your workplace. And within your workplace, there was a bit of a situation where you were being required to kind of essentially like bargain for a better wage, is kind of where it was at. And I just wanted to know right now, like, where are you at with that all right now?
Yeah, I mean, I that was an interesting conversation, and I think it took some turns that I wasn't expecting, in the sense that that information was pretty new to me from my supervisor. It had started because I realized that one of my direct reports at work, due to some changes with the union, I work for the government, was making like $100 less a month than I was, and I have like 5 times the responsibility. And I was like, something isn't right here. And then my supervisor told me, you might not know this, but essentially, when you are given, like, when you compete for your position, my position is currently a temporary assignment because the position that I am in currently doesn't exist in government. They're still making it because it's a new type of work. She's like,
Okay.
when you compete for this position, you need to yeah, you need to advocate for the top of the pay scale, because we won't be able to offer it to you off the bat. And I was just like gobsmacked that that's how it works. It doesn't matter
Mm,
that I'm like excelling in my job or overperforming or any of those things, that they're limited by this. And then she went on to add, yeah, and all the men are doing it and the women aren't. And so
wow.
just this like double whammy that like performing well in my job isn't enough. I have
Hmm.
exactly, I have to like bargain or, somehow advocate to be paid well. And
Wow.
um, yeah, and that what she was pointing out to me was that when we hire men, they know to do this and they do it and they're successful, which means that men are being offered higher wages because
Mhm.
they know that they need to push back and say, well, no, I want more money. And the
Yeah.
women in our organization are not. And it was just, yeah, I had a lot of feelings about it. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
A lot of feelings.
Yeah. You bet. And then it sounds like one of those first feelings was, I mean, you said gobsmacked, but shocked, gutted. I don't know what other words might characterize that.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. And definitely, and then I think there was like some anger, there was some frustration, there's like some annoyance in there. And then I think what comes after, and probably where I ended up after our session, was just like I felt sad and
hmm.
I felt disappointed and like sad that that's the way it is. Even though I work in an organization with a lot of women, um, sad that they're put in that position, sad that my supervisor had to tell me this information, sad that I didn't know to do this. Um,
So
and
could I
then,
say, like,
yeah, yeah,
sad that there is that like discrepancy, right? That
yeah,
men just get a better wage because they're in that space.
totally. Or that you're doing a good job, or that like
Mm,
you're indispensable. And then, as a supervisor, in the last week, I'm in a position where a man, has said, look, the job that you're offering, right? I work for government, is about $35,000 less a year than what I'm getting paid. Do you have any room to give me more money? And I feel like I'm in this like dilemma where like I could go to bat for this person, but then I feel badly that I haven't gone to bat for everyone else. But
right.
also, he did ask. And it's probably like, even if I do go to bat for him, he may not be able to take the job like anyway. He's already giving up money. And he's like, I live in Vancouver. I have a new baby on the way. It's super expensive. And I'm like, should I be punishing this person just because
Mhm.
so now I feel equally stuck, like double stuck now. I'm both in the situation of being wronged, and then I'm like, now am I just like being too stubborn in, what I'm willing to like go, and put myself out there for this person? How much do I let them do this? And then have I failed everyone else because I haven't advocated that they like say, ask for the top and see what happens? Like, I don't know.
Right. So you're in a like a full-on dilemma about I don't agree with this situation.
Yeah,
I've been kind of the victim. I've been paid a lot less than other people because of this
yeah,
situation. And then now he's playing that kind of code game that has privileged men in these situations where he's asking already for
yeah.
more. And do I follow suit with kind of the normative of like, well, they asked, and then I sort of go to bat? Or do I say, no, I don't, I'm
Well,
not
and
into
then,
this.
like, part of me is like, you know, he's in a very real situation and it isn't just about privilege. Like, he lives in Vancouver. He's like, it's already $35,000, like a third, you know, it's like a third of my pay I'm giving up to come and work for you. Is there anything you can do? And I'm like, oh man, like, yeah, you live in an expensive city, you've got a new baby on the way, like, it means your wife's probably taking, like, he's not coming to me saying like I'm a white man and I should get paid more.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Yeah.
and so like I'm like, this feels like an honest request. And yet if I go ahead and like lobby for him in the organization, I feel badly that I haven't lobbied for everyone else.
Mm.
And yet he's the only person that's asked for it. So I'm like, oh God.
Yeah. What would we, I mean, I said dilemma, but what would you kind of call that kind of that space that you're in right now?
Call it a dilemma. I think that's a great way of putting it.
Yeah.
Kind of like a moral dilemma, because it's like, on one hand, I don't want to punish this individual who's already looking at taking a wage decrease to come and do work, and he like would really like to be on the team, would really like to do the work we're doing, really committed individual, you know, sensitive soul. I don't want to punish him because everybody else didn't get, like, they didn't know to ask.
Mm-hmm.
I also probably can't even tell people in the interview stage not, you know, to ask. I could now tell everybody on my team, hey guys,
Yeah.
I have discovered this. I want you to know that this is how it works.
Yeah.
So I could do that. And there is one person on my team. It wasn't when I hired her, but she did, and she fought for the top, you know, tier of the job pricing and got it. But also, in hindsight, I'm not sure it was good to give it to her. So it is real. Like, I feel conflicted. There is definitely a moral dilemma.
Okay. So that within that moral dilemma, like you'll make your decision and kind of ride that out. But right now, what is that conflict, that inner conflict kind of what does it look like? What is it something, how much, first I'll ask, like how much time is it occupying?
Oh, I mean, Scott, you know, there's been like a lot of personal stuff happening in my life, so I can't say it's occupying a lot of space, but I am at like a moment where I need to make a decision. So I feel like I want to make a thoughtful decision. So it's not completely neutral. I
Mhm.
can't say it's like, yeah, I think my intention is more that like I need to make a thoughtful decision because I need to respond to this person who said, hey, is there any room? I don't think he's going to be able to take the job anyways, even if I got him the top of it. But I have to be comfortable with my decision.
Wow, tell me about that.
um, like, I don't think he's going to be able to take the job anyways. So I could say, sorry, I can't do anything, and he'll say, no, thank you, and it'll be what it'll be. I could say, hey, I can try and get you to the top. Like, in government, there's a grid, and then there's 5 steps of pay within each grid. And I can say, well, I can try and get you to the top number 5 step of the grid, and I'll go to bat for you and tell the organization why you should get that and other people didn't get that. But I'm not convinced that he should get that and other people on my team shouldn't. But there is also a woman in my team who has that, and I don't think she should have it over the other people either. So it's not, you know, it's, and I didn't know that this is how it works. So
Right.
now that I know, I could, you know, it's like, well, what can I live with? I almost feel like I have to go through like an ethical decision making process so that I can live with my decision.
Yeah. And like you're describing like comfort with your decision. Like I'm feeling comfortable with the decision. Do you like where are you at as far as like comfort for your decision? Like if it was a scale between like 10 on the far side, like, yeah, I feel fully comfortable with this, with what decision I made, and whether or not whatever your decision might be. Or maybe we can just scale both decisions. How do you feel about that? Could we scale both of them?
I'm sure, because I really don't feel like I am clear on a decision yet.
Gotcha. Okay, so going to bat over here, going to
Yeah.
bat. So 10 being you try to get him up to that next matrix.
Yeah.
You go to bat for him. How would you feel if you made that decision? 0 meaning I'll anchor it. So 0 meaning um, you don't have a lot of comfort doing that, knowing that other people didn't, and and you're not sure if you'll even take it, right? And other people might require it, and it's also playing into something that you developed last time. It's playing into some of these kind of male patriarchal, like you got to be conflict driven in order to get what's yours. So anyway, all of that, where would you place the decision of going to bat for him on a comfort scale?
So 0 is not comfortable and 10 is like fully comfortable.
Yeah.
Probably like a 6.5.
Okay. A six.
I think so. I think this is where it also gets really interesting. Nobody, like the leadership team and the executives would know, but nobody on the team would necessarily ever know.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that's a good enough reason to make a decision that I'm not comfortable with. So it's like almost imagining like everybody on the team knowing and me having to like advocate for that decision that I made.
Yeah. So there is that. There's the like people might not know, but also it's sounding like you know, and that's enough.
Yeah, I do. And then you're totally right in the sense that like in making that decision and going to bat for this person, I feel like I'm also contributing to a system that is wrong.
Yeah. Okay.
And yeah, should my, I guess the counter to that is like, should my beliefs on it punish somebody else?
Yeah.
Because I have an opinion about this system not being right.
Is it directly punishing? I don't know.
Well, if I don't go to bat for the person and they don't get the wage, then yeah, it does punish them. Because I've decided for them that I'm not going to engage in that particular system.
Yeah. Okay. So now on the other side of scaling over here, so you don't go to bat for them. 10 again being, I am comfortable. I am not engaging in an unjust kind of chauvinistic or patriarchal kind of system that goes there. And then on the 0 end of being like, I'm not comfortable. So you don't go to bat and you're comfortable with that decision or not comfortable with that decision is 0. So where would you be on your decision is not going to bat?
I mean, one, I think I have to change it from like not going to bat to like.
Sorry. Yeah.
That's okay. I think I just have to change it to something more like.
Sorry.
Like
you are holding your line. Yeah.
Yeah, like, and it's kind of like keeping the status quo. Like I've brought after the situation with the woman where she got the step 5 and no one else on my team had got that, I was like, I don't agree with this. I think this is wrong. I don't think that that's okay. And so I made a decision to say, okay, I'm going to start everybody that I have at step 2. So my decision would be to continue with that choice, even though he's asked, and say, nope, I'm just doing step 2. That's as far as I'm willing to go with any employee. It's just step 2.
And was that a decision you had made when following the person getting? Okay. So towing the line, step 2. That's the
continuing with my, how do I feel? Probably like a 7.5.
Okay.
It's not like
So,
it's not that much more comfortable.
yeah. Yeah.
No, it's not that much more comfortable.
Yeah.